Yeah. Are you drinking coffee too?
Yeah, I know we
Man,
said we were gonna do Cinco de Mayo, but
happy Cinco de
yeah,
Mayo.
this seemed like a better idea.
I agree. I agree. We were on the same page without even realizing it. So I guess this is how we celebrate Cinco de Mayo in quarantine with
Yeah,
mugs of coffee at 6 p.m.
yeah, yeah.
Well, how are you? How's the stash? How's life?
It's good. Um, I grew it before the quarantine, but I'll just call it a quarantine stash. And life is pretty much just sitting here, a lot of sitting down, uh, emailing the or texting the band, trying to write an album through text because we can't hang out with each other.
Just over text, like you guys don't even
Yeah,
say,
like
"Hey,
text
what's
each other, like,
up?"
what do you think of this? What do you think of this? Drop songs in like a Dropbox and then go in and listen to them. And then like they'll send the songs in. And then I've probably learned like 20 some demos.
Hmm.
Cause I don't know what else to do besides just learn all of them. Cause normally we would get together and like rewrite them. But I'm like, well, I guess the most effort I can put forth is to just learn all of them and then hope that they sort of stay the same later, and then I don't have to relearn them. But yeah, it's a weird time to do stuff like that.
Yeah, the future is now.
Yeah,
Well, it sounds like a very efficient process you guys have going on. So happy to hear that.
I'm saying hi to my buddy Jake from the Orphan the Poet. It was his birthday yesterday. He's in
Happy
here.
belated birthday then.
Yeah, we had a socially distant birthday for him yesterday.
So and that was the number one question that I saw when I was asking people for questions. Sorry to bring
Yeah,
conversation
yeah.
back, but about new music and kind of I think with every
Yeah,
band
we're
it's
a
kind of
little
like
behind,
what's
aren't we?
happening.
Yeah, I'm sorry, we've been dragging ass on that. We are our last album is old. And we all feel the same way, and we're trying. We were actually supposed to be going into the studio officially in I think a couple weeks, which that's got pushed back a little bit now. But luckily, recording is a little bit easier than figuring out how to tour since it's a smaller group. I guess I think we can probably like pull that off with three people and
Mm.
be safe. But I mean, until the states where we record have their like shelter in place orders taken off, I mean, we kind of are just kind of stuck here. So it's coming. We're riding it. We're trying. It just we felt really fortunate at the beginning of this because we were one of the bands that was lucky enough to not be on tour. I was on tour with some other bands, but like this particular band, Miss May, I wasn't on tour. So the touring stuff didn't immediately affect us. It'll affect us in the long run, but it's kind of bit us on the studio end, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, at least you guys are still finding ways to stay creative, like at home, because it's still
Yeah,
possible, to be thinking about
I
what
actually feel
next.
guilty during the quarantine because some people are doing such a good job at coming up with these like innovative ways to repurpose their music
Mm.
and get their new stuff out to people. And I'm like, I wish that we were a little bit further along so that we had new music, but we're literally right in the beginning stages of it. So like, there's so much of this stuff that we can't even do until we get the record done. So yeah, well, I'm confident that we'll get it done. I'm glad people are so excited. I feel like we haven't made anything, and it's been like 4 years, 3 or 4 years now. It's pretty
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you guys tend to have a little more time in between albums than other bands, which is in a sense a good thing because you're not forcing it.
Yeah, I think the first three, when we were young and like in our early 20s, they're really short. I think the longest was like 2 years, and it was 2 years on the dot, which means we were
Mhm.
making the next one within probably like I don't know 16 months of when the previous one released, and we were already back in the studio.
Yeah.
Whereas the last few times it has taken way longer in between.
Yeah. And I wanted to ask you, just in general, of like the music scene and especially the genre that you're in, what are your thoughts on the way that the scene has kind of handled all of the new regulations and things that have come into place because of COVID-19?
I think everybody's doing the best they can. I think the touring end is obviously the biggest question mark because it's not up to any of us. Like it doesn't matter how creative you get. if it involves a bunch of people in the same room for a while, that's going to be a difficult thing. So everybody's been getting pretty creative. There's some really good albums that have come out already and
Yeah.
new singles that have come out. And that's what I was saying. Like, it's so cool right now if you have something new, because you get the excitement of releasing the new thing, and then you get to come up with, all these new ways to use that new song. So like, um, I would like if we had a new song and we could be doing like the cool run throughs where they make like a quarantine video where you're doing like the live performance of stuff.
Hmm.
But
You guys could do it with some old stuff. That'd be
yeah, we're
interesting.
trying. We're working on it right now. We've got we really had ourselves set up for this plan to go into the studio in June, and we weren't really prepared to be on the internet creating content. That wasn't really where our heads were at. So we were
Twitch
just,
wasn't your thing.
yeah, we were. That's not really our strong suit usually anyway. And now we're unprepared. So we need to make Twitch accounts, and we need to do all of that stuff. So
Yeah,
we're
well, let me help
trying.
you with the TikTok.
Yeah,
Just kidding. I
I
don't
don't
know
know about
anything
that.
about
I don't know about that. I
that.
might be staying away from the TikTok.
Yeah, you don't strike me as the type,
No, I
but
think
you never know.
there's really nothing that I think would be more embarrassing for me than having to dance in front of people. I really can't think of anything else that would be more scary than that.
So it sounds like you should definitely do it. You
Yeah, it's
just think that's
right
scary.
up my alley.
But what have like sort of hobbies or like healthy habits and patterns and things have you been up to just at home in quarantine? I feel like it's been interesting to ask everybody kind of the different ways that everyone's handling it personally.
Yeah, I just run. That's always been my thing. I can stay away from people, and it lets me go outside too. Um,
Hmm.
that's pretty much the only healthy thing I do in my entire life, to be honest with you. But
I mean,
I
good
run a
one though.
lot, so that's my thing. I try to like run 5 days a week, and I try not to put it all over my. I try to find my. I'm trying to find my group of friends who enjoys running too. So because I don't want to punish the people who don't care about running by putting like every day, look what I did. I ran again. People are like, great job. Like, cool. You
So
ran.
me, you just described me to a T.
Yeah, yeah. This is your job, though. This is your job. It's not my job. They're like, bud, pick up the guitar, like,
Maybe that's why I made it my job so that I could
so
punish
that you
people about
could,
my
so you
running on
had the
Instagram.
excuse.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like if anyone tries to drag me, it's like, no, 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 this is my profession, you know?
yeah. So
That's good.
I did a few live streams. I did one with Frank the other day, which was cool. And then between like the
Which is
people
also
you,
funny because he's in this same household right now.
yeah,
So
he's
you
the
just
man.
got both roommates already.
Yeah, so he interviewed a few friends of mine. I watched this whole interview with Kevin, which was
Nice.
interesting the other day. I haven't seen
Yep.
Kevin since we both did. What was the year that we both did Warped last? I think it was 15. That's the last
Ooh.
time I saw Kevin. So I
Okay.
watched like Frank's whole interview with Kevin, which was cool.
Yeah.
You've interviewed a couple friends of mine, so like pop in and see that. That's like the best you can do right now. I mean, besides like
Hmm.
giving somebody a call, because the weird thing about the touring is like you'll meet so many people at one time. You're buddies with a lot of people, but you might not be like on a FaceTime friendship kind of vibe with them yet. But you would normally be running into them 1 or 2 times a year anyway, just because of shows. So it's almost like the live stream thing is replacing the backstage of shows where you run into people like your acquaintances. You're
Yeah,
just
I'm
like,
running into people's live streams instead.
yeah, and you're checking in that way because you can't. There's no way you're going to run into people, in like yesterday, I hung out with my real friends and my roommates, and we took like 6 foot apart birthday shots. Like, so it's not really the time where you're going to be able to hang out with anybody that's in town. And there's a lot of people in Columbus too that are like musician friends, but
Yeah.
it's almost like you used to be a bad friend if you didn't hit your friends up, and now if you hit your friends up, you're the bad friend. You're like, they're like, dude, we can't be around each other, and you're like, I just need to hang out with somebody, and they're like, no, 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 no.
You make such an interesting point, though. And I was actually just talking to a friend about this today about how interesting tour friendships are, or just like music industry friendships are, because it's like we just naturally run into each other's shows all the
Yeah,
time. And the dynamic is interesting now. And I think that's something people who maybe don't work in the industry don't realize is like
It's strange how you can get
Yeah.
close to people so quickly too. I mean, a tour
Yeah.
might only be 30 days long on like a normal club tour, and you might not even like just because of the amount of people or how busy you are, it might take you 2 weeks just to meet somebody that's on that tour with you.
Mhm.
But that that last 2 weeks that you're hanging out with people, they could be like some of your most long-term friends, but you might not see them again
They're
for
very
years and years.
fleeting,
So like,
but good
yeah,
friendships.
like Ghost Inside is the example I always use because it's so funny because we loved the Ghost Inside in 2011, and we would never have shows with them. And
Mhm.
then we played one festival together, and I met Jim. And then one thing led to another, and we got lucky. I think that was actually, and then all of a sudden we did a Parkway Drive tour together. And then it was like every tour after that for a year, we were with the Ghost Inside. And
Wow.
then that was 2012, I think, and I haven't seen him since. So for about
Oh,
6 months of that year, I saw them like pretty much every day. Even shared a bus with them in a couple different countries, and uh, then the tour ends, and then your paths just don't cross. And what is that? Almost 9 years now since the last
yeah.
time. I think I've seen Jim in passing a couple times, and I see Chris because I still go to Maryland. But like as far as coming across each other from touring or shows or anything, haven't seen them. Haven't seen Pierce the Veil since the
Man,
last
yeah.
Warped Tour show we did together. I haven't seen. I can probably say the same about um, most of the bands on that tour. Like
Yeah.
yeah, I can't think of besides August Burns Red. That's really the only one that like, and I've seen them so much the last couple of years, which is funny. So it just kind of like goes both ways, I guess.
Yeah. Thank you for reminding me of all the friendships that are just
That you
fleeting
that it
now.
is fleeting, yeah, yeah. It's funny how you can run into those people though so far down the road, and the relationship is like right
Yes.
back to the conversations, right back to normal.
Yeah. That's the other thing is like when you do run into those people again, it's like you never left.
Yeah,
Totally.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's especially interesting for me because I have to wait till people come to Orlando at this point because obviously I don't tour or do anything anymore.
Yeah.
So now it's like, oh
Oh
man.
yeah. So you have to wait for the stars to align within your state, not even just like on one tour. Yeah. Well, I
Double
talked to
whammy.
Frank about that because I met Frank in 2008, and then I didn't see him for like 8 years, and then I saw him, and then I didn't see him physically. I haven't seen him since still, but now I spoke to him on Instagram the other day. But it's crazy. It's like wild um, how you just stay friends with people that really you only saw for 30 days of your whole
Hmm.
life, but you can just stay friends with them for years and years.
Yeah. I mean, a lot happens on a tour that keeps people a lot closer than just everyday mundane life. So definitely some
Yeah,
bonding moments.
some
Yeah.
close quarters, a lot of hanging out in dirty environments,
That I'll do.
without a lot. I think it's even tighter at the early stages when no one is in a large vehicle, when you're
Mm.
all stuck in a van, because like the last thing you want is to sit in that van. So you all come together every single day, no matter what. It kind of spreads apart. On Warped Tour wasn't so bad for that because it's outside, it's summer, and it's kind of like a summer camp vibe, so everybody came together. But I always like when everybody's in the van, and my body doesn't like it anymore as I get older, but like the camaraderie is better when everybody's in a van. That doesn't
Yeah.
sound like it would be true. It sounds like we'd all want to kill each other, but it's kind of true.
I mean, I wouldn't know from personal experience, but I can definitely see it. I can,
Yeah,
yeah, for
I'm a
sure.
van guy. Yeah, Levi farts in the van for sure.
Mm, fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask him about that next time I see him. I'll be like, hey, I know I haven't seen you in like 2 years, but
You
I just
know,
want to know.
and we'll all just start passing the blame. That's what we do. Just pass the blame from one member to another.
And that's what really goes on tour, folks. And to get a little bit back to quarantine life and stuff, um, bands are still working as you're still working on music and keeping your mind in that space. What can fans do during this time, and what do you think are the best ways that they can continue to support Miss May I during this time?
So what Miss May I is working to do is we're trying to get the record out at the same time frame. Um, and in the meantime, I think what we are going to do is I can't tell you exactly what we're going to do, but we're going to launch we're gonna launch our thing here in the next week. We've been working on it. Like I said, we felt a little behind the 8 ball with this because we just we really had no backlog of anything ready. So first thing we had to do is figure out how to get everybody involved with each other from 3 different parts of the state. And we had to make sure everybody has their equipment. And I think what we're going to do is just watch the band's pages. We will launch the official site of what we're planning to do. But it's going to be, we didn't want to launch merchandise. We knew there was a lot of merchandise out there. We didn't want to just start off the bat with merchandise because we had just come off the back of that. So we've basically been silent. I know it's been pretty confusing for anybody that follows us. Like, what are they doing? But it's coming. I wish I could tell you. I wish that we dropped it yesterday so that I could drop it today. But
How cryptic
it's almost
of you.
done. Yeah, it's almost done. We're almost ready. And we're basically getting the 5 members set up and streamlined so that we can start providing content for everybody, which we've been bad at so far. I did some stuff the other day with a buddy I made from tour, which was really fun. I did a quarantine video, which was cool, which I think kind of gave me the courage to do a little bit more of the quarantine stuff because it's a whole new medium for us. Like I'm not usually a very comfortable in front of the camera kind of guy. I don't mind a big crowd, but something about a camera is really uncomfortable to me.
Funny how you've ended up in almost all of my Miss May I interviews in that case then. Like,
talking is good. I don't mind talking. But there's something about performing that's hard for me. So that's like a hump that I had to get over. And then I think we're about ready to go. We've also got Levi had his first baby. So we're also balancing that. You know, we're learning how to be a band that tours full time and is making a record. And then you got Levi with a baby, and then you've got 3 other guys up in Troy. You've got me out here in Columbus. I was touring full time until this happened. There was no plan for us to really even interact until June when we came together for the studio.
Wow.
But then when I got sent home from that last tour, and then all of a sudden no one was working, now all of a sudden we're all sitting in the house like, oh, we're not recording the record in a couple weeks, so we better dive in and figure this out.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a new playing field for every band, and I'm sure they're all feeling what you guys are feeling on some level.
You know, I really thought that the FOMO that content creators and band people have all the time was going to kind of lighten up because it was going to be like, we're all stuck. It's worse now than it's ever been because everyone is being so creative right now, and it's just like there's new stuff all the time. It's a cool time for I'm watching a bunch of my favorite bands do cool stuff, and I just take notes all the time, like, and that's pretty cool, and we could probably do. So like we're getting it together, but yeah, it's a weird time. It's a weird time. How do you feel about the digital concerts? Are you watching any digital concerts and you're like, yeah, that was as cool as when I go see it? Or are you like me and you're like, God, I cannot wait till we can just go do this loudly in person again?
Yeah, I mean, I feel a little bit disconnected.
Me too.
You know,
I think that's my
the whole
problem
point is
with
the opposite,
performing
but
them too. I feel like anybody watching would think that it feels disconnected from the actual music. I think it's because I'm not a sound engineer, and I'm so used to having a great sound engineer like we do when we have Jazz on tour with us, and he is there making sure that the difference between the microphone and the speaker, when it gets to you, I sound awesome. But with me in control of the knobs, I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know how good I'm going to be able to make this sound for everybody. It's so intimidating. There's so many guys out there who are like so talented and can create an entire record on their own. And now I'm like trying to play. I feel like I'm playing catch up a little bit. It's a little bit intimidating, but there's a lot of cool new stuff. I know people keep saying Twitch. I need to do Twitch. I know. There's Saxel, dude. That dude's not scared in front of a camera.
I mean, the nice thing is that you're kind of using all of the pressures of this creative environment as a way to get ideas and like fuel the band a little more, it seems like you're not discouraged by it, you know, because there's kind of two ways you can look at it.
Yeah, I don't want to be discouraged because there's nothing we can do about it.
Exactly.
The best thing that we can do is make sure that the music going forward is great. I think it was a good idea for us to wait an extra few weeks and decide on when we go in the studio, because like we were saying, what's the point of going in when everybody's stressed and the vibes are bad? Because then we're just going to make some stuff that's not great, and then when we release it, then it's not going to be as good. And I feel the same way about whatever we do on all the band's websites and social pages. Like, I don't want to get up there and start just putting mediocre stuff up, and then people get bored and they don't want to be a part of it, or what I would be worried about is they feel like we're being lazy, like we're not delivering stuff that's entertaining enough. I'm a pessimist though, so that's my problem to overcome, which I'm sure we will get there.
Yeah, but I think that's part of the reason you guys have had longevity as a band is because you do hold yourself to a high enough standard. You're not just going to throw anything out there. You want it to be something that it's evident you've put some love into.
Yeah, I still get pretty embarrassed about if stuff goes wrong. Like, I think that's a good thing. Like, I think when I just stop caring about if it goes well or not, that's probably when I obviously don't care enough to do it anymore. But right now, like, every little detail that goes wrong, I'm like, oh my God, dude, how did we let that one go? How many people saw that? And then, you know, uh,
Yeah.
I'm especially like that when we record.
Mm.
That's why you have to have a producer that you like, so that they can be like, that was good, and you're like, it wasn't, and they're like, it was good. I'm the producer, trust me, I would know. And you're like, right, right. You're right. Let's move on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as long as you have that mindset, you're definitely in the right space. So it's good that you are striving for the best.
Trying.
And so obviously you said there's stuff on the way that fans are going to be able to look forward to, which is exciting,
Yeah, I
cryptic,
would I would
and
drop it right
exciting.
now, but I totally talked to my manager on the phone today, and I know that if I drop it right now, he will call me like, dude, right afterwards. So
No, no, I don't want you to get in trouble. I'm excited to hear, though, that there's stuff on the way. Is there anything else you want to mention before we come to a close? That you just, I don't know, anything you want to say, anything you
yeah,
want to
just
mention?
just keep checking out missmaymusic.com. Keep streaming the songs and enjoying what we have out right now. And we should be ready to go here soon and have some new stuff for you. Again, sorry it took so long. Um, and no, there was no tequila in the cup. It really was coffee the whole time.
Yeah, mine is also just coffee. I will
Yeah.
also vouch for you that you did say you did not have tequila on hand as of yesterday.
I do
So.
not. I do not have any tequila in the house. I've learned that a bottle of tequila in the house is not the best idea for me.
It's not the most responsible choice.
No.
I respect your decision. Well, sweet. Well, yeah, everybody listen to Miss May I. Do the damn thing. I mean, you guys have merch out as well if anybody's
Yeah, all that's
inclined to
at
do so.
missmaymusic.com. We launched a new line pretty close to before all of this happened. So, I mean, everything was pretty much new when the lockdown sort of began for us, which was another weird thing to have just put some stuff out and then need to put some stuff out again. But yeah, there's merch up there. Thank you everybody that's still following along. We haven't played a show since December, and we probably aren't going to get to play a show till next December. But we'll
Woo!
we'll uh, we'll tackle that as it goes.
Absolutely. Well, good to see that you're keeping busy and doing good. And thanks for chatting, Ryan. It's nice to like see you and catch up for a bit.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for having me. It's nice. I feel like the last time I actually saw you was um, we were in Florida playing. It has a coffee shop next door to it. I can't remember what club that was.
Ooh.
We were on tour with Motionless, I think.
Plaza? Wait, did I not see you at Warped? The last Warped tour?
No, I didn't get to go. I actually felt really bad about that. I did not get to. The last one I got to go to was I was Indianapolis, and Grin was on it. Was that the last full one? I didn't get to go to any
Yeah.
of the ones of the final year that were regional. I only got to go to, what is that Indiana one? Blooming
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
something.
think I
Bloomington?
for sure saw you there. I
Yeah,
don't know which came first though.
that's the I think that came first. I think it Motionless in White, Amity Affliction, Miss May I was the last time.
Whoa. Wow, it's been a
They
long
run.
time.
The years they go quick. They run together.
That's bananas. Well, I'm gonna count this as one time that I saw you.
Yeah, this
So,
counts. Cheers.
yay! Cheers. Well, thanks to anyone who's still in this thing, still watching, and I'll see you later, Ryan. Have a good
All
one.
right.
Enjoy
See
your
ya.
quarantine. See ya.
Thanks, everybody.